Been a while since it felt like this. Been a while since it felt like this. Been a while since it felt like this.
All right, so we're coming to you guys from Kerrville, Texas, and we went out on this really nice nature trail along the Guadalupe River. It's really nice. We actually found this little spot. We're sitting, it's almost like a tree trunk island. It's like this little, it's a huge tree trunk, and we're just out here sitting right on the water. But so yeah, Kerrville, Texas. We came up here mostly because it's close to Fredericksburg, which is kind of the Texas Hill wine country, which it was actually disappointing, very expensive to go up and visit those wineries.
Very commercial as well.
So it was kind of disappointment for us. You guys know we like our wineries, but it was just not worth the money. But really, I think what our theme this week is going to be kind of, I don't know, the woes of the RV life. What the...
It's not all rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, exactly. It's not always fun. So the past few weeks we've had some issues. And it's not just the issues that come up, the problems you have to solve and work through just so you can get your rig underway. And we're not complaining at all because we know this is the RV life. But we've had, our solitude has been really good to us for the past almost 2 years. We've had a couple of minor issues here and there, and I wouldn't say that the issues we've had lately have been catastrophic. We were able to resolve them. But in addition to that, there's the maintenance that goes along with it too, which is kind of never ending.
Just like with a regular house, you've got maintenance that you have to do in order to hopefully avoid those big ticket breakdowns, and you have to do the same thing in an RV.
The only problem is when you have those breakdowns in an RV, now you're stuck and you can't, or you could be stuck and, maybe you can't get to your next destination. And of course, they always seem to happen at the worst times too, right? But again, in addition to the breakdowns, you have just your regular maintenance items. Just in the past few weeks, we've had to do several of them, from, just washing and waxing the rig to the water heater maintenance, or at least I was just flushing it out, getting all the crap out of it. All right, this is what it looks like when you need a new anode rod, and that would be what it looks like. It's definitely time for me to order another one. What I've been told is when it gets down to about a pencil size, you should get a new one. This one is a little bit beyond that, so it's a good thing I'm doing this maintenance now. The wheel bearings, what else have we done maintenance wise?
Slide tape, so sealing the slides. That needs to be done periodically. Yeah, and to kind of go along with that, also put all new lap seal down on the roof around everything, because I've got a buddy who is an RV inspector, and he basically told me every bit of my lap seal on the roof is beyond its useful life. So I figured I should probably get that done. Candace did quite a bit of caulking up around the rig. So, in addition to the catastrophic stuff that happens, right, you also still have to maintain this thing all the time, all the time. And then the couple of the big things that we ran into this past couple of weeks were, we had a slide that wouldn't come in. The day we were supposed to leave Mississippi. In a torrential downpour.
In a downpour. All right, guys. So this is underway day. It's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning, and we just had a big thunderstorm. You can see this. You can see this. We're pretty much right in the middle of a river. I don't know how this is going to happen today. This looks bad here, right? You can see the water's flowing over our RV pad, but what you really need to be seeing is this. And and so that was not a good day at all. Luckily, we had some good friends that were there with us that were able to help us. We had to physically push the slide back in. I was able in the next stop to get that slide fixed, to pull the motor out and get it all fixed. So, you know, that ended up well. Okay, so we're doing a little bit more troubleshooting on our bedroom slide here. I'm trying to get access to the motor on this side to see what's going on with it. I can't tell if it's operating or not, but I'm trying to get access to it so that I can just try and figure out if it's operating. What I'm going to try and do is just remove the motor from the slide and then have Candace operate the slide button, and we'll see if that motor even spins. So if it spins, I think that tells me that we actually have a mechanically bound slide. If it doesn't work, then I guess that means we just need a new motor for it. So anyway, what I've done so far is I've taken off the top trim piece here already. This thing's just held in, that top trim piece is just held in by brads. So that'll be easy to put back on. And then this piece here, and the reason I'm taking it all off is because I can't actually get up there to see and work and stuff. So this piece is just held on, looks like by these 4 screws. So that's where I'm at right now. We're gonna take this off, and then we're gonna try and get at that motor, pull it out, and make sure that the motor itself works. All right guys, so it's almost impossible to get that motor out of here. Because I've still got this piece sticking up from the side trim. So I think I'm gonna have to take this off as well. I didn't want to have to do this, but it should be easy to put back together, I hope. But I just don't have the room up there to see what I'm doing and to get arms and hands back there to get this motor out. So we're just gonna pull this out. All right guys, so we got that taken off, and now we're going to take a look at this motor. All right, so this is the very top left corner of this slide. You can see a little bit of the outside sunlight shining through there. But here, what I've done here is I've just pulled this weather stripping away here, and you can see the cable that goes to the motor here, and here's the motor itself right down in there. So I'm going to try and pull that sucker out of there, see if we can make it spin outside of its track. So I may have cut some stuff out there because this was kind of jammed in there. What I want to show here is what I think happened, why it was jammed on me, and why I had to cut the video, because there was probably some language in there of the worst kind that you didn't want to hear. So here's what this looks like. It's only going to fit in here one way, and it's got 4 of these mounting bolts on it. Now this motor just sits down in there, and these little bolts, all they do is they just prevent that motor from turning when it produces torque. Okay, so that's all it does. So those little bolts sit down in these little slots. Mine somehow was cockeyed down in there. It was really hard to get out, but it sat down in there just like this. So here's the thing, is I don't know, this wire right here, right, obviously should be connected. I don't know if I disconnected it when I pulled this thing out, or if it was already disconnected. So this is a problem, and I'm gonna have to figure out, can I fix this? Do I have to buy a new motor? I don't know. Never tried to fix one of these things like this. So that's the plan. So at least I know something at this point, which is a whole lot more than what I knew 5 minutes ago. All right guys, so I got that pin put back in there, and we're going to try and apply power to this motor to see if it spins, and then we're going to go from there. So if it spins, I'm going to try and put this back in very carefully, and then probably just go ahead and order a new one of these, or maybe I can just buy that little wire, that little run of wire with the connectors on it. But we're going to basically put the slide in just a little bit to see if this motor turns, and if it does, great, I'll put it back in. Go ahead and do it. All right. So we can see there that this motor does actually have power. I'm sorry, I kind of look like, what is it, Mr. Wilson from Home Improvement. But we do see that this motor has power, so that's good. I'm thinking that wire had just come out. I've heard of that happening before with these Swintech slide motors. So we're going to try and put this in just very carefully, try and keep that wire seated in there, and then either order a whole new motor, but hopefully I can just order that little wire run and we'll see if we can get her fixed. So, but that's the plan. We're just going to go ahead and put this in here and see if we can get this slide all the way out. All right, here's the test, guys. I think we got it fixed, and we're going in the out direction here. So we had total and complete success on getting our slide fixed, going in and out now. Again, it was just that wire that was loose. We're going to get either that wire bundle on order or just order a whole new motor, whatever it takes, but we're going to have backups. So that's all that was, and we're going to go on to whatever the next disaster is. The other thing that happened was right before we left, we noticed we had water in the underbelly. So I had to tear part of the underbelly apart, probably about 10 feet of it back from the rear end. And you know, I had to get up there and fix that. I am trying to reroute our Starlink cable, and so I wanted to bring it up through the floor into the living room somewhere, actually in part of a cabinet. And I came back here, and this underbelly wasn't attached properly. As you can see, it's supposed to fit up underneath here, under this lip here, sort of, and it wasn't. It was kind of down like this. And when I pulled that thing off, a bunch of water here, pan down here. We got a bunch of water that came out, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to weatherproof all of this, and hopefully, and get my cord routed. All right, folks. So we found the end of the line here where it's wet. So just as I suspected, it was really just rainwater leaking in because they didn't have that underbelly tucked up properly and waterproofed the way it should be. So I think this is gonna be an easy fix. We're just gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and route my cable up in to the living room here, and then we're gonna have to replace some insulation up in here, about 4 rows of insulation, I think 4 or 5 rows of insulation, and then put everything back together, and we should be fine. You know, again, like Candace says, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, but it's so worth it.
Yes,
you know, being
absolutely.
out here is so worth it. The places you get to see, the people that you get to meet, and the things that you get to do is absolutely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's our theme for this week. I think that it's just not all rainbows and unicorns. We wanted to bring you guys some good footage of stuff, some places that we've been, but it just hasn't been that interesting yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but we've only been out here, how long? A couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks yet. And we're getting ready to hit some good places. We're getting ready to hit Big Bend.
Yes.
Which is a big national park that everybody tells us we have to go see.
Mm-hmm.
And then where?
Then we're heading to Carlsbad and White Sands National Park up in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Yeah. So we do have some good stuff coming up for you, just not a whole lot of interesting stuff we've done lately, because mostly we've been busy just kind of fixing stuff. So with that, we're gonna wrap this up and be on our way.